Chef here. In today's, I'm about to say Brother ScanNCut. I'm sorry. In today's die cutting tips and tricks video, you are going to learn how to use the sea life dies. We're going to use the seahorse and the fish, this fish here. And we're going to create a seascape using the Seascape stamp set. We're going to use the adhesive sheets. Okay? So it's your lucky day because what I'm showing you is on sale. Let me just talk about that real quick, and then I can put this away, and then we can get right into the crafting. All right. During the month of March 1st to 31st, we have a 20% off sale on the Stampin Cut and Emboss mini machine. So instead of $60, it's $48. Okay, it very rarely goes on sale. And in the next catalog, things like this, I'm not sure exactly what's going up, but they said prices are going to be going up in the next catalog. So this is a good time to get this for many reasons. Also, shipping will be going up in April, so that's a good reason to get it for that reason. All right, all of these bundles are 20% off. Now, when you go to the website, it says 50 originally and then 40, but when you go to the website and you look at a bundle, it might say something like 45 and then 40. That's because typically not typically, all the time, well, no, not all the time. Typically, I'm going to say typically. Typically, when a bundle comes out for the first year it's out, you get 10% off anyway. Then later on, even if we keep those items separately, like say this is around next year's catalog, just for example, but it's not new anymore, but it's around. It's still in our catalog. It's not going to be 10% off anymore. So I'm going to say typically. So typically when you buy a bundle, when it's new, you get 10% off anyway, right? So when you get these dies, right, they would be 10% off with the stamp set. But they're already 10% off, so now that this month they're 20% off. So that's why it says 50 and crossed out to 40. But when you go on the website, it's going to say 45, and they crossed that out and put 40. But you're still saving 20% because originally it was 50 if you buy them separately. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry, guys. It's one of those days. But hope you had a fun St. Patrick's Day, and I hope it's been a good day. I'm just kind of discombobulated today. All right. This is these are all the bundles. Art Gallery, Beauty of Friendship. I have this one. I've worked with this one before on this channel. Okay, Celebrate Sunflowers, Garden Wishes, Hydrangea Heaven, Pansy Patch, Quiet Meadow, Seascape. That's what we're doing right now. Seascape. It's $41.50. That's the price combined, and it's originally $52. Now this one, I just want to show you this little picture for a moment because I'm not going to get the big catalog, but these are meant to kind of stay in the paper. We're going to be cutting them out of the paper. So it's a really cool die that stays in the paper. Sweet as a Peach, Welcoming Window, What's Cooking, and Wildcats. Okay, so all these are 20% off this month. I'm combining savings from, I'm using items from this. I'm using the mini machine. I'm using the Seascape bundle today. I'm using a bunch of different ink, and I'm using stuff from this promotion, which is ongoing too. I'm using things like the foils. Foiled again. I just wanted to say that. All right. I'm using the blue foils. That's what we're going to be cutting the seahorses out of and the little fishies. I'm using the Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper. I'm using the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. The 3 items I'm using are available until May 2nd or while supplies last. May 2nd. It's part of the Waves of the Ocean promotion. But this part, this stamp set, which I'm not using right now, Waves of Inspiration and Waves Dies, it's going to be in my next workshop, but they're going to be available all next year in the catalog. All right, I hope what I said makes sense. Let's get down to it. At the end of this video, if you're new here, the way I roll is I show projects that I created ahead of time. So I've done a lot of planning and to design what I'm going to make. And I decided to come up with this design. Oh, my stamps are still a little wet. See, this is why I couldn't go live earlier because my stamps were still drying. And then they got wet anyway when I put them back out. But that's okay. All good. Okay, we're going to put the coral on this big stamping block E. Okay. We'll get the extra excess water off. We're going to put the algae, some of the seaweed there. On here. Let's see if I can't fit it on this stamping block. Yeah, we'll fit it on this tall stamping block H. Okay, so we got the seaweed. Okay. Actually, we probably could have fit it We need this. We need the other ones. We're going to put it at an angle. Stamping block D is always a good choice. All right, let's put some fishies and we'll put some bubbles on stamping block B. Okay, bubbles, stamping block B. Okay, we're going to put the thank you. It's always good to put a sentiment on kind of a bigger block for stability. So we'll put thank you on stamping block C. And we're going to use these little fishies, the little row of fishies. We wipe all this off. Like I said, I have water on it. Fishies, stamping block H. So those are the 5 stamps we're using from the Seascape bundle. We're going to make a thank you card. Okay. The colors we're using, we're doing that part first because then we're going to do the die cutting. Even though it's a die cutting tips and tricks video, I want to just do this part first. Right? Because it'll be fun to have the scenes sort of built. I mean, we'll just start to build the scenes. Okay, we have Balmy Blue, Granny Apple Green, Coastal Cabana, Pacific Point, Calypso Coral, and Pool Party. All right, we don't need Balmy Blue. I didn't like it. I didn't like how it came out. We're going to keep the Pool Party. We're going to do the Pool Party later, though. Okay, we'll do a little stamping now, a little stamping later. We're just going to do some scenes. Okay, what I want to do is we'll do the algae and the coral and the fish. So let's put down, so what you do for your scenes, you're going to put down a little bit of, put down the silicone mat, right? Put down your paper. I'm going to be doing vertical cards, vertical thank you cards. So I'm going to start with the sentiment. I'll put a sentiment on there. So tap, tap, tap. Put the thank you on your mat to test it. So we'll do it there. Hold it for a few seconds. The reason I'm starting with the sentiment, because if you don't get that right, then you have to flip over the paper and start over. If you get the other things wrong, it doesn't matter, because the other things are going to be, like, it won't matter because the other objects you can like fix by stamping over them or covering them up with paper. Okay, we'll do another thank you there. Okay, so let's just do a couple of those cards. All right, we still need the fish. We need this one for the fish, the Pacific Point. So we'll leave it open. But now let's do the algae. Seaweed here. We'll do some, we're going to take this and we're going to tap, tap, tap into the Granny Apple Green. And then tap it onto the mat. Still not fully inked. Tap it on the mat again. All right. One thing to note right now is watch how this paper transforms. We're going to stamp the first one. Oop, I did it upside down. That's okay. We're going to stamp the first one over here. We're going to stamp it, and then we can off-stamp it. Okay, like that. And off-stamp it like that. See, so it comes out later. That's a really nice way. And don't worry that it's upside down. It's all good. I'll just put a little fish there. All right, now we're going to take, we'll do that again to the other card. Right side up. Right side up this time. Okay, some algae. And then we're going to do it again with some thick, and then we'll do a little off-stamping. Okay, stamp off, so it's a little bit lighter. Okay, good, good, good. So we got our algae done. Let's see. We got our thank you done, getting that out of the way. We'll do our fish later, but we're done with the green. Get that out of the way. Calypso Coral. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, it's coming out good. Tap, tap, tap. We'll put some coral down there. A little bit of lighter coral up there. Okay, put some coral down there and a little bit lighter. All right, Calypso Coral's done. See how the paper is just being transformed right before your very eyes? That's what seascaping does. That's what stamping does. We need some Coastal Cabana for our bubbles. Let's put our fish before we do our bubbles. Here, little fishies. Okay, let me see which way I had them going. Okay, I had them swimming that way. Sorry. Just peeking at my old card. They look better when they're swimming this way, I thought. Okay, so we're going to put them this way. Okay. So, stamp them dark up there. And then, let's see. I'll just kind of have them off the page over here. And maybe off the page over there. Every card's going to look different. Okay, So a little fishy swimming by. Put that over there. Let me put this one here. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, good. Some darker fishies up there and some lighter fishies down there. Put a little tail going that way. All right. Done with that stamp. Bubbles. We need some bubbles. Done with this color. Okay. That was, again, Calypso Coral, Granny Apple Green. Now we're going to put some bubbles. The reason I'm using this one now is because we're tying this in. We're doing the bubbles with Coastal Cabana because we're tying this in, and I'm just going to do some off stamping. So some bubbles will be like darker, right? Coastal Cabana, and some will be lighter. Okay, so that's our bubbles. And then I'm just kind of turning it and making some bubbles lighter. Okay, so just wanted to show you how quick and easy that is to make a scene. And we're going to put a little bit of Pool Party on that scene as well. You know, just to make the water a little bit different color. But let's go ahead and die cut. All right, mini machine. Do you see what I just did? I just opened up the mini machine. And the platform is plate 1, right? And then it even tells you in here, plate 1 and then plate 2. It has it right on the little thing. And then you need another plate 2. So that's the sandwich. Now in between that sandwich, we're going to put the seahorse and the fishies. Okay, if you want to thank you, I'm glad you like the scene. It's like, today we're making a scene. We're causing a scene. All right, there we go. Now what you need are pieces of foil from blue foils. By the way, they come in 12 by 12 sheets, right? But we're just using the pieces that are 6 by 6. I mean, because I've already cut them. Okay, so let's take a piece of this. What this is adhesive sheets. They come in, by the way, this is the whole pack. But I've already started using them. They come in packs of 12 inches. 12 inches by 6 inches. And you get 12 of them. So it's a really good value. But in all my kits, I do include these in all my kits. Okay, let's flip this over. I'm going to take a piece of this. It's double-sided. You'll see. It's just magical stuff. I'm just taking a row of it. I'm putting some on the blue foils. Okay, and then I'm going to take a row of it, the other row, and put it on the blue foils. The different kind of blue foil. So one of these blue foils is like Pacific Point, and one of these is Coastal Cabana. And there's also silver inside the blue foils. All right, so now what you're going to do is you're going to take your seahorse, and because you want to use this sparingly because it is adhesive sheets, right? So you want to get in behind there. Don't worry, we're not die cutting it this way. We're going to go in behind there, and you're going to just cut around it. So just sort of cut enough for the fishies too. That's what I meant to say. So you're putting the fishies in there like that. And even though we save a little bit for later, we'll cut more fish. You could cut more fishies out of this piece. So you can go like that. But basically you're just using it sparingly because you want to get these pieces of adhesive. You don't want to use it on places you don't need to use it on. All right, that's good. Now let's do that again. Okay. Right, the adhesive sheet's behind there. So you're just kind of, here, we'll just do it this way. Kind of like that. Whenever you use adhesive sheet and enough room for the fishies. All right, so we'll do this twice. We'll do the fishies. We're done with all the foil. We have our 2 pieces of adhesive sheets. Let's put the sandwich back that just fell apart. Plate 1, plate 2. Put the piece of foil. Put the seahorse. Put the seahorse there. And the fishies, wherever the fishies may have gone. There's the fishies. Maybe like that. Sometimes you must, just to make sure it all fits in there. Now it's going to be tight. I'm using a piece of washi tape. Okay, I'm going to use a piece of washi tape so that they don't overlap each other. Let's see if I can't change the angle. Doesn't matter. We'll just move. We'll just do it twice. We'll move the mini machine a little bit the second time. You want to make sure you stagger the plates so that they're not all going in at the exact same spot. So maybe put the middle plate. See, there's the first plate, second plate, put the third plate. So stagger them like that so that they get caught in there when you put them in the machine. Okay? And if you don't do that, it'll be hard to crank them through the machine. Okay? Let's test it before we take it all apart. Test it meaning, did it go through? Oh yes, look at that nice clean cut. Clean machine. All right, keep the washi tape. You keep using it until it totally falls apart. Okay? Until you cut through it so many times. Got our fishies. We need both colors of fishies because we want to put like one of each color on each one. So we want to put like one Pacific Point fishy, one Coastal Cabana fishy on each card. So that's why we're cutting out 4 fish to get all together. Okay, so there's our fish. Now you take your pick tool and you poke out all the extra bits. But there's a better trick to get out the extra bits when you're using a sticker sheet, like we are. We're using an adhesive sheet. So we do need to get out the bits this side, but don't worry about the bits on that side, because when you peel the sticker away, it's going to be easy to get the bits out. But these little bits, you want to take these out because we're about to cut another sticker. So if you want to know how to make your own stickers, this is how. Use double-sided sticker sheets called Adhesive Sheets. Very good value. $10 for 12 sheets. They're 12 by 6. And you can cut them smaller and get multiple die cuts out of them. I pretty much use them for intricate dies, not for all my dies. And don't use them on your punches, by the way, because they could get all caught up in there. So plate number 2. Okay, there's the piece. We're going to do this one. And where are my fishy dies? Put the fishies there. Because of this piece is a much bigger piece of foil, I don't need to use the washi tape because, I'm going to probably anyway, but I don't really need to. It's only when they're really close together. What you don't want is when you're die cutting to overlap your dies like this. Because if you do, like the metal will bend if they start overlapping like that. Ask me how I know. I have a lot of bent metal dies. All right. I see a lot of you join me for this late night crafting session, which is awesome. And I will be saying hello in a moment when I can see my screen. Okay, these are a little tighter to get through, but it works fine. Okay, out the other side, putting the mini machine away. We don't need it anymore because I'm trusting that that one cut well. Okay, I can actually see through it and see. But if you want to test it, before you take things apart, this is indented in there. Before you take it all apart, you might want to double check, did it go all the way through? And if it didn't, then you would want to cut it again. All right, so now I planned on showing you a little bit closer when I do the inking up. So I'm going to lower this down and the cutting out of this. So this kind of die is meant to be, okay, I'm getting rid of any little bits there. You can also use the washi tape to get rid of the extra bits that are stuck in your die. So anyway, this kind of die is really cool. It's meant to be like you could have cut the foil out ahead of time. Like, let me show you what it was meant to do. And I'm not using it for that. So like you could cut a piece, and this would be the back of your card, say. And then this is going to stay in your card. So that's already cool as it is. Like this would stay right in your card. But let's snip these 4 parts away. Because we don't want it to stay in our card. We want all the times I make cards with this, without exception. I don't think I've ever had it stay in my card. I've always cut my seahorse out because I think the seahorse looks fantastic kind of on its own. So there's 4 parts that you need to cut out. So let's just first do this. Let's get rid of the excess so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, 4 parts you need to cut out. You need to snip. Let's do these 2 first because they're really easy because it's just right around the curve. So you're getting in there with your paper snips. Use paper snips because they're small and go like that. Okay, snip, snip. Okay, easy peasy. It's just these 2 that are a little tricky over here. I like to do it on this side Well, not only because I'm right-handed, but it just helps me. So let's get rid of everything excess. Okay, so you can see. So what I'm trying to do is get rid of this little part right in there, right next to the fin. So when I go up high enough, it'll go right next to this fin. His little, that's like his dorsal fin. That's like his back. But even though he's sitting up, and I say he, could be a female, but this one's probably a male. Anyway, so just, that's his little dorsal fin. There, we're cutting right up in there. Now we're going to cut this little fin. We're going to cut this off. You could leave it sticking out. It would probably be fine, but I'm going to cut this little fin so that it's flat. You'll see in my other examples too. Okay, so that's what I did, and that's how the seahorse is going to look. Let's take this one out. Oh, and they do make a die brush, and the die brush would help. But when you're using sticker sheets, you don't really need a die brush because all these little extra bits fly off very easy. See? They come off very easy when we get this sticker off. All right, pulling that off. I'm going to get this other fish out. Getting rid of extra bits. And we have this little one right there. I'm just cutting in the front this time so you can see it better. Pull that away. Get down on it. Okay, we're going to just do this. All right, so now you can see how versatile this die is. You could leave the fish or the seahorse in the paper, or you could take it out. Okay, we have our little fishies. Let's put those over here for now. And we have extra fish. Okay, good. And we have our dies. Getting rid of this part. I'm looking for the other fish. There it is. There's the other fish. So what I was trying to make sure is before I throw this away. So always check for your dies, because I've lost dies forever. They've been thrown away. And so just check for your dies before you, to know where, do you know where your dies are? All right. Just getting rid of some little bits for a moment. Now, the seahorse is the focal point of these cards. So we need to, the seahorses are. So we need to make sure that we put them on before the extra fish. So they're going to go like that. Okay, so watch the magic of pulling these off, and then how all these extra bits are going to come off with it. So cool. So get in there with your, you can get in there with your fingernail at the beginning, or to take your pick tool. Personally, I prefer my fingernail. Okay, check this out. See all those extra little bits that were stuck in there that you would normally have to use a die brush to get off? Look at them. They just come right off. Now you're left with just a couple little pieces, and that's when it's important for you to take your pick tool. Okay, so now you have this perfect sticker with no extra little bits on it. Okay, and we're going to put them in on the card. Okay, let's see. I got to put him over there so he doesn't touch the thank you part. I'm going to put him right there. Although if I put him up too high, he'll get into the thank you. Okay, good. And then for this one, I need to get off his little chinny chin. All right. This little cheek, I should say. Pulling off all the extra little bits. Take your pick tool. All right. And slap on the sticker. Let's put him over this way a little more. I'm kind of putting him in the center, but on the bottom. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to get rid of these extra little pieces for a moment before I do the little fishies, just because these parts kept sticking all over my card. It's like, did you ever go to a restaurant where it's like they take a little scraper and they get the crumbs off your table? It reminds me of that because it was like, it left such an impact. I'm like, wow, what a good idea. They come along with this little scraper and they go like, before they like give you dessert or the next course, they'll go do do do, and they get rid of all the crumbs, and you're like, whoa. All right. We're going to put 2 fish on each one. So let's just kind of lay that out. So I'm going to do a Coastal Cabana fish and a Pacific Point fish on each one just to change it up. So we'll do, and the fish are swimming in different directions, which I like about the die. Something like that, but at different heights. So let's do, maybe this one will be down there. This one will be up there. Or actually, since they're both over there, I could do something like that for that card. Because I like the way the coral looks. Something like that for this card. So just kind of play around with it and see. But I like having fishes in different directions. Okay, again, it's easier for me to use my fingernail than it is to use this take your pick tool sometimes, but I sometimes get it started with my fingernail and finish it with the take your pick tool. Okay, I'm going to use a little bit of Pool Party. Before we stick this on, because I want to put a little bit of Pool Party there. I put a little Pool Party in the top part of this cards a little bit, and sometimes I did on the bottom cards. Some cards I didn't do it at all, but let's just show you how that'll look. And what it does is it helped me on the cards that had the sentiments on them. It helped me a little bit because it helped put a little bit of edging around the sentiment. It made the water look a little blue. So just, you could do it with the sticker on there and everything. But I want to put a little bit there before I put the sticker down. So let's take your blending brush and go ahead and take one of the stamps off of your ink pad here so you can put some ink on it. So we're going to put a little bit of ink on the stamping block. And I'm just going to get in there and just do some circular motions. Okay, there's chip. Tap, tap, tap. Okay, but what I'm doing is I'm just doing it on the background of the card and not on the part that says thank you. Let the part that says thank you sort of stick out a little bit. That's why I came up with this idea. I didn't do this on all my cards, but I was like, oh, it will make the thank you stick out a little more if I leave the thank you on the white and put a little bit of color on the back of the card. I'm just going to go down and do it to the bottom a little bit, but not that much. Okay. Okay, see that? So it's kind of like we'll do the before and after. I'm going to I'll put a little bit more down there. So that way the sentiment really sticks out. Now we'll put that fish back on there. Put it right there. Okay, so there we go. And then we'll do, so just kind of a better look at that. You're just kind of putting a little Pool Party behind it. I tried Balmy Blue, and it just didn't work for me, Balmy Blue. Pool Party is just a happier color for water, I think. I think that's the color I use the most for water. You'll know from my Sea Otter cards that I used it a lot for water. A little bit of ink on that one. That's why I was trying to clean up all those little bits, because if not, they end up under your card, and then you think they're like your little bling later when I show you to put the bling on there. I put the bling on last after I attach this to the next layer. When you're blending, always take your first blob of ink and sort of put it on your mat so that no parts are too harsh. So sometimes I did the blending before I even put the back of the Seascape on. Sometimes I did it after. I mean, it really doesn't matter. If you're afraid of scratching your little foiled seahorse, then do it before. All right, good enough. And we'll do the bling. I'm going to put some bling around here. Done with that ink. So for the next layers of the card, I already have the pieces cut for you, so you don't have to wait, because this is more of I wanted to talk more about die cutting today, right? And less about how to assemble the card. But just know that this is an A2 card. I'm using Coastal Cabana. Okay, it's a vertical card. We've talked about card making on this channel all the time. You could do that. You could put that right on a Coastal Cabana card. Or you could actually add another layer behind it. Okay, so it's up to you. So if you do add another layer behind it, you could add like a little eighth of an inch. I'm just gonna put that right on there just to show you. And then sometimes you can put like layers behind it, and I'll show you cards where there's layers behind it. See, this one would have to be bigger. These are pieces of the Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper, which I put behind some of my cards. But let's just go ahead and put this one right on there, because it looks good right on there. You don't need the extra layer of paper, because all we did was stamp onto paper, sentiment and everything. No extra layers. It's just, and it looks that good just because you got that foil. We're going to add some bling. There you go. Okay, let's clear this off. Okay. If you want to get the stuff I'm showing you, there's the website, my Stampin' Up! Store. I don't know why you wouldn't want to get the stuff I'm showing you. It's pretty awesome, right? I hope it is for you too. So now I'm going to put some little jewels on here. Okay, these are the Rhinestone Waves Basic Jewels. Just sort of spread them apart. Let's see, one over there. You have lots of different colors in here, including your pool party or including your Coastal Cabana and your Granny Apple Green. You have lots of colors going on. I just like to use an odd number. We'll put a big green one over here, just to kind of offset the Granny Apple Green over there. So that's finished card number 1, and I'm going to show you my other projects now. And then, of course, for this one, I put some bling on it. So you saw how quick it was to stamp 2 cards. You could have made many cards at the same time using the same technique. Just keep going. This seahorse is fantastic. Now, I just want to mention before, I'm always like to keep it real on my channel. The reason I don't use this fish, you'll be wondering, why doesn't she use this fish? Well, because I just have a very hard time putting this kind of fish into the ocean. Not saying you shouldn't use it as a goldfish, right? But to me, it doesn't look like it belongs in the sea, okay? And this is called Sea Life Dyes. So I know the graphic artists are phenomenal, and they made this incredible dye. And this is pretty cool, this coral. But this to me looks like an ornate kind of goldfish. So it looks to me like it would be better on a freshwater card. So that's why you always see me using the seahorse. I think I've talked about it on my channel before. I like to keep it real. These two, and fish, of course, look like they could be anywhere. But the seahorse is obviously saltwater. So seahorse is okay to be in the saltwater. Ready to see some more projects? All right, so for these I created little bags. And these are going to be like little thank yous for those that win my host code drawings or those that take my next workshop, right? Little thank you bags. And so inside the little bags are some little candy. And I just put the little sweet tarts inside them. These are like little Easter sweet tarts. Something small to fit in the bag. And I used the Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper for these little bags. And I did a little seahorse bag with a little Ghirardelli chocolate in it, little chocolate bunny. Just you put little thin things in it. For this one, I just used the thank you sentiment. I didn't use the fish. Some more little sweet tarts. All right, so for this project, I did a notepad, and I stamped right onto the notepad. So you could just get yourself a craft little notepad. And again, these are just little thank you gifts, but I didn't put a sentiment on it because I didn't want to put like thank you on it, right? I just stamped on the front and the back just to decorate up a little notepad. And this is, again, using the sticker. Now, if I hadn't used the sticker for this, glue would have oozed out the sides. So the other reason you want to use these adhesive sheets is so you don't have to deal with messy glue, and so glue doesn't get on your beautiful foil. Okay, I'll show you the rest of the cards in just a moment. Let me just say hi to Yvonne, Melissa from Texas, Marion, Enike from all the way from the Netherlands. I like that. Nola, I know what that commercial is. Nola says, is this live or is this Memorex? Oh, that was such a funny commercial. I remember that. Yes, we show how old we are by remembering that commercial. Hello, Gloria. And yes, this is live, but you can always watch everything recorded. Pacific Point is so, yeah, it's so cool, right? Pacific Point, and Misty Moonlight's retiring. There's so many nice blues. Anna, thank you, Anike. Hello, Anna. Oops, now it's going up to there. It's like my things are disappearing. My names are disappearing. All right, I got them back. Hello, Jade. Okay, let's see. I do have a magnetic bowl. My husband got me one. Right, and to keep me from losing. But since there was only 4 dies, I thought, there's only 4 dies in this set. How hard can it be not to lose them? Of course, I still lost them, right? They just go. I should put these in a different kind of case. But yes, I love the magnetic bowl he got me that holds the die so you don't lose them. Yeah, Stampin' Scrub is good for cleaning your stamp pads, Marion. And hello, Pat. All right, so last couple cards. And Frida, hello. I'm not going to get to say hi. I'm not going to get to read all your comments right now, but I'll just show you the rest of the cards. Okay, this one is taking the same concept of what we just made. I still use the Coastal Cabana card base. I used the white and a little bit of Pool Party for the inking, but this one I used a strip. I took a little strip of the Waves of the Ocean paper, right? Which looks a lot like this paper, but this one was Whale of a Time. This paper was Whale of a Time. This is Waves of the Ocean. Waves of the Ocean has all kinds of really cool patterns like this. And it's our new paper that I use for the background of the couple cards I'm showing you, like this, right? This is Waves of the Ocean. So it doesn't have like your little sea life patterns on it, but it's really good for your backgrounds of your cards. So that's Waves of the Ocean, and I use that to put the sentiment on right in this piece here. Okay? Now for this one, I used the Waves of the Ocean paper for a whole layer behind. What you can do is you can die cut out a seahorse before you cut this layer. So here's your layer, and you can cut out a seahorse, and that way you make the most of this paper. So cut out a seahorse out of the Designer Shows paper, and then use it as a card background right after that. So then you get the most bang for your buck. So this is an extra layer on a card. Same thing as I did. I stamped right onto the card, Pool Party around the edges, but I just used that extra layer. Oh, the gift bags, I used a die. I'll show you the die. It's a really old school die. I'll show it to you. Okay. This one is, let's see. I'm trying to think, 3.75 maybe, or 3.5. It's a square card. So it's probably like 3.75 wide with 3.5 matte there. So it's a nice little square thank you card with just the fish on it. Okay, so that's what I did for this card. And then for this card, I took the Waves of Inspiration bundle, the Waves of Inspiration stamp set, and I put Happy Birthday on there for a birthday card with a piece of Pool Party sheer ribbon behind it. And that's how I got, and then I put a piece of the Waves of the Ocean dies, or Waves of the Ocean paper behind it with an 1/8 inch border. So you can see all of these projects are all, this one was Waves of the Ocean paper. These ones, I tried to, the reason I had to use washi tape at the bottom of these bags is because when I tried to die cut 2 pieces of paper at once, the die went all the way through. I'm using a very old school Biggs die for that. And you can make your own bags with your Canvas workspace when you take my courses, obviously. But when I have a die, I tend to not like make my own bag if I already have a die. This is really old school. I don't think it's even Jilly Bean, it's called. Sizzix. Anyway, it's something very easy to make with a ScanNCut, but if you try to die cut 2 of these through, cut a hole right through the bottom. All right, so that's all for now. I hope you liked all the projects. 2 that we created today. The little notepad and the bags that I created previously, all with the seahorse or the fish as the focus. The foils really make things pop. I hope you'll give these projects a try. And don't forget that we have lots of other scene builders, including ocean front. Okay, and we used to have one called Snowfront too, but you can make lots of, you can make, if you like beach scenes, well, you can make your ocean scene. This is making a little ocean scene, and then of course you can make yourself a little beach scene, and there's lots of what we call scene builders when you're creating with our stamps. That's all for now. This is the Paper Chef. Have a great day.